Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we are doing my cross country, some qualifying cross country. Currently east of Charlie 3, doing my power checks at Oxford, and my next destination is Peterborough Conington, which is an EGSF air ground communication service, so radios. And then after that it is Kemble, which is AFIS, and information aerodrome. So, for qualifying cross country, there's you have to do 150 nautical miles or more, and it has to be to two other aerodromes that aren't the one you took off from. So, just doing our power checks now. We've got a aircraft just ahead of us, DA42, and one who's just landed, a Seneca, I believe it was. All ready to depart. Just gonna have a quick sip of water. Should drop it quite graciously. And then we will taxi, ready for departure, out of Oxford. So now just got clearance to taxi to hold short of Charlie 1, so just taxiing now, and then we'll contact the tower, call sign only, ready for our departure. Fortunately, the cable to record the air traffic control hasn't been working. I was hoping to have ATC recordings for this journey as well. Would have saved me doing the voiceover afterwards, but nonetheless, so hopefully for a future video that will be all sorted. Today's conditions were pretty much perfect for cross country. It was light and variable winds for the majority of the journey. Further north it was a bit picked up, a easterly wind, about 8 knots or so, which you'll see windsock into Peterborough, Conington, and further into Kemble. But currently at Oxford it's not too much of an issue. It's doing ATPL checks now, checking the approach is clear, just turn transponder on, squawking 4520 with mode Charlie. Piece heat not required, and land light set. So we've got given a line-up clearance for runway 19, so we're just going to line up and wait, keeping it on the foot pedals, foot brake, and then we'll depart, routing towards Beckley Mast. So welcome to the sky. I've just departed off runway 19, and we'll shortly begin an easterly turn direct to the mast. Just had a bird go on the right hand side of the aircraft, that's just taken my attention. So we're just going to fast forward a bit and I'll join you turning overhead Beckley Masts. Back over the Beckley Mast, you won't be able to see it's just to the left of the aircraft now. We're just going to begin our turn and towards Silverstone. So this was a turn up to Northampton, passing Silverstone. So it's a bearing of 0 to 0 degrees. So a northeasterly direction. This leg's going to take about 25 minutes or so, and a total distance of 30 nautical miles. So just do my TTT checks, so I wrote down time on my blog, turned onto the correct track and checked the time again, and now I've just done a gross error check. So we've just turned, so we departed to the south, then we turned east, and then we turned north. So Oxford is on our east, so I check for the Oxford airport, hope it should be on my east, and I check it is on my east as well, making sure that I have actually got Sky Demon on, just in case I require it. And now we are making sure we're on the correct heading, altitude's correct, and then we'll shortly do a Frida check. And then it's just about sitting back, relaxing, enjoying the journey up to Peterborough, Conington. Join me just south of Silverstone, which is our halfway point, so you'll see it just on the left of the aircraft shortly. Got Sky Demon on the right, so as a viewer you've got a bit more situational awareness about where I am and where I'm going. As you can see, we're just tracking the magenta line up to Northampton, and we're going to be tracking to the north-east towards Conington, past Sywell and a area of wind turbines. So now just doing a Frida check, so just changing, putting fuel pump on, changing changing tanks and checking we've still got pressure. Radios, so I'm currently on Oxford radar, I'm going to shortly change to London information 124.6 for basic service, and now I'm just checking for carb heat, so my engine checks. Happy that there's no icing, checking T's and P's as well. And during this, just making sure I'm keeping my scan cycle, so my lookout, my attitude, and my instruments. Now I'm checking my actual instruments, checking the DI is all good, and checking the altitude is sound. And that completes the first of many Frida checks throughout the journey. So just continuing to enjoy the sights, you can just see Silverstone just below the aircraft now. It did creep up on me. You can just see the extremities of the circuit. We're very close to it, so you won't see much. There we go, you can see a bit more of it now. The inner tracks, go-kart track, and So just checking that. Obviously this was my halfway point, so just looking at the time, thinking, well, am I ahead of schedule? Where what time I expected to be there at halfway, and how's that going to affect me for the rest of the journey. So I believe I was 1 or 2 minutes ahead, so that just obviously shortened that full ETA of route to 2 to 4 minutes shorter than planned, which isn't an issue, but obviously just gives us a bit more situational awareness. Potentially the wind's a bit stronger than I expected. And now I believe I'm just coordinating a change to London information, and then we'll just give London information our information once they tell us to pass a message. Wasn't busy on frequency today. It was actually surprising. There wasn't many aircraft today, but it was a really nice day for it. Anyway, you join me now. We've just cut towards Peterborough Conington, so we've just entered EGTK from the south. They're using runway 10 today for south right-hand circuit. So we're going to join from the south, pass over the overhead, and then we'll descend on the dead side, being north down to 1,000 feet. So we're currently 2,000 feet, segregated by 1,000 foot over the circuit. And as I say, descending to 1,000 foot the circuit height on the dead side, and then we'll join on a crosswind to land. So notably, Conington, it's a short runway, short field, which isn't necessarily too much of an issue. Done weight and balance in the landing calculations. We've got by far sufficient distance. So we're going to do a three-stage land. Oh, sorry, a stage of flat full landing, and we're going to be approaching at 65 knots. So it'll be 75 knots down to 2 stages of flaps on the final, and I'll put out the third flap, the drag flap, to land. So just turning to base now, doing a base to final turn. Good thing about Conington is it has a motorway running alongside it, which makes it really easy to identify, and that's the, I can't remember what motorway it is now. However, it makes it really nice to figure out where the aerodrome is, and we'll just turn to final, bringing out the flaps. Sure, and checking the height against the displaced threshold. So Conington's got a very far displaced threshold. You can see the start of the concrete just at the cowling now. However, the runway doesn't actually start until where the sun visor was just a moment ago, just above the compass. So what's this mean? It means I might feel like I'm a bit high, but actually I'm perfectly fine. As you can see, the aircraft now coming down. Again, looks like we're high, but the runway hasn't actually started yet. You might just be able to see now the start of the displaced threshold, and well, landing. Just notice the mower on the left-hand side. That's pretty much the most amount of traffic this airport gets. It's a very sleepy one. Anyway, I'll leave you to watch the landing. So just roll out from runway 10 and we'll vacate on Bravo. Pretty textbook landing. Could have potentially came in a bit lower on the approach to come over the numbers a bit lower, just so he didn't land as long as we did, but as you can see, not at all a factor. Could have easily vacated a good 100 foot, 200 foot before I have. So nothing really to note, no issue at all. So just vacate to the left. I plan to taxi, or I plan to park on the grass just on the left here, and luckily that's exactly what the a CGS radio operator instructs me, or doesn't instruct, asks if I can do. So I'll taxi onto this concrete to the left, and then we'll bring it back round to park on the grass. And when we turn around, we'll park the aircraft up and have a little bit of time for a break, and then it's straight into the next one. So I'll leave you with my voiceover. Right, so welcome to Conington. As you can see, very sleepy. I did notice, obviously, landing runway 10, whereas before landing reciprocal, got displaced threshold. So it was a bit high. I didn't actually think about the fact there's a displaced threshold, but I think because I thought of it a bit too much. So yeah, came in a bit high on the final. To be fair, it was totally fine. Put the drag flap in and just coasted it down. Held it off quite a while, down to about 40 knots airspeed. But overall, really nice flight. Yeah, catch you on the next one. Join me back in the aircraft for our second leg to Kemble. We're on the disused or the unlicensed runway now. As you can see, it's a bit worse for weather. We're just holding short of Charlie. Just doing our power checks and also making sure that we've got the Daventry VOR selected to do VOR tracking, which is the first part of today's leg. You need to select it, identify it and then track it. I've selected it but I can't identify it until I get high enough that I can see it, or I'm within visual line of sight, and then can actually identify it with the radio. So Parton, again, runway 10, nice headwind, so we do take off quite nice and early. I'll leave you to watch for departure. Park Conington on the downwind leg, heading to the west, and then we'll intercept the Daventry 2402 radial to track Daventry, and then we'll go overhead. So as you can see, just departing on downwind. Yes, again, the Skydemon isn't quite linked up with what I'm doing. It's marginally behind, but that's a note to self. Now going to Kemble, nice long runway at Kemble. It's able to accommodate the 747, the 747 Negus, as well as other aircraft. So we're going to have plenty of runway to land, which you will see once we actually arrive into Kemble. I take note of that and I react to it. So we'll just depart the ATZ to the west. Well, I say the ATZ, but Kemble's no longer, sorry, Conington's no longer got a ATZ. It's a permanently deactivated via NOTAM, so just departing the area, I guess is what you could say. Anyway, so as I say, we're tracking the VOR today, and something I found out I can do on Skydemon. So you've got to turn it on the settings, but you can actually click on the VOR and then track radial, and then you can enter in the radial you want. So we're going to be tracking the 240 radial, so I'm going to key that in a second. There we go, and you can see it's just put in a white line, which is the actual 240 radial, and you can just see it just out of the east of Conington. Otherwise it wasn't very easy to see with the track and the previous track, as well as the planned track markers on the Skydemons. However, we're just going to skip time as we're tracking to the VOR. Thing with VORs is when you are far away, they're much less sensitive than when you're near. So as I departed from Conington, I was already on the 240 radial and tracked it perfectly. However, as I got closer, sort of over the Northampton region, you can see I'm turning a bit more to actually intercept it. Just did a Frida check, yes again, fuel radios, engine, DI, and altitude, altimeter. Again with London, so just change to London, and momentarily we're going to pass over the VOR, and you can see I'm just trying to visually identify it on the ground to the east, using Sky Demon as a visual reference. Could have used the DME as well, however the DME is going to show a slant range and not an actual range to it. Slant range being, it's going to show my height when I pass over the VOR. It's going to show my distance from the aircraft to VOR, which is obviously not 0 because I'm above it, flying at 3,000 feet. So it is not the most accurate in sense of, well, I guess if I knew my how far up vertically I am in terms of nautical miles, then it would have been useful, but nonetheless. So pretty much trying to find it, and at some point I give up and just decide, well, we're not going to see the Daventry VOR, so we'll just depart. Going to key in the 230 degree radial from the VOR, and that's going to take me to Banbury. Reason I went to Banbury instead of directly to Moreton and Marsh is because of Shellington gliding area. I've just basically put in a dog leg so I can skip it over, which you'll see when on the Sky Demon track when it next comes up, if it comes up. I believe next time it comes up is Moreton and Marsh. You can see I pretty much give up in VOR, however I look to the west, to the north, and there we go, I've just spotted the VOR, and I am extremely happy that I've spotted it. I don't know why I was so happy, so I guess it's more principle. Anyway, now that that's been completed, I will depart on the 230 degree radial from Daventry. So this is a nice short leg. It's only a 6-minute leg, 11 nautical miles down to Banbury. Banbury's nice and easy to see with the industry estate to the northeast of it. So now I've just jumped ahead of time now to Moreton Marsh. This is my waypoint where I've basically said I'm going to change frequencies. So we've gone from London 124.6 to Gloucester approach, which was 128.555. I'm in contact with them yet again for a basic service. Gloucester, very accommodating. Got me to report a beam the aerodrome as well as report Chedsworth, which is my entry VRP into Kemble. So just contacting them. To be fair, this was probably the busiest in terms of aircraft, this little leg. Previously to this, I've only seen another aircraft once, whereas during this leg I'd probably see about 2 or 3 inbound into Gloucester. So just making sure got a good lookout as standard, but again it really wasn't a busy day at all today flying, which was surprising with such good weather, but you can actually see it's quite hazy and you can't actually see too far with the gimbal with the camera. You can see a bit further visually, but yeah. So just contacting Gloucester radar, Gloucester approach now, and they've told me to pass my message, so I'm giving them my call sign, my aircraft type, my departure aerodrome, so that being Conington, my destination, which is Kemble, my position, so currently about 1 nautical mile northwest of Moreton and Marsh. Moreton Marsh being a disused aerodrome and now the UK's Fire College. It's a very noticeable waypoint, or VRP. It's got everything firefighters need to train, really. They've got buildings, got demolished buildings, motorways, crashed cars, aircraft and helicopters that can all be used for training. They were actually active when I flew over. There's a convoy of fire engines and ambulances, I believe it was. So obviously something fun to look out for and see. So yeah, after reporting position, it's altitude on the QNH, and in fact we have the VFR. And then my request, which was basic service, they came back asking me to squawk 3701, I believe it was. Or that might have been the squawk Bryce gave me for transit. Or, well, transit I hope to get. I guess I've kind of let the cat out of the bag and confirmed that we get a Bryce transit. And after giving me the squawk, they just basically asked for my routing. So that's Morton and Marsh to Chedsworth, which is a again a disused aerodrome just to the northeast of Kemble. A bit harder to see than Morton and Marsh, however, I do see it visually and track perfectly down towards it. Just having a look out to the see if I can actually see Gloucester Aerodrome. Just spotted an aircraft visually, so just point out, just 100% confirm, and I'm just basically keeping an eye on it. Passes just below, about 500 foot, and that's inbound to Gloucester for the runway 27 approach. Probably a visual approach. Gloucester's changed its procedures recently, so they no longer do stand overhead joins. It's actually normally now straighten approaches. So that's obviously what the aircraft was shooting today. So tracking over the Gloucester area, go over Cotswold Hills, which is very nice visually to see. Otherwise, we've got Cirencester, we can see Northfleet roundabout, as well as Little Risington and military gliding site, which is just north of Bradnorton. You can see it on the Sky Demon now, just next to the blue weather tab on the far right hand side. All's really busy, as I say, over the Cotswold Hills. Namely of gliders, I didn't visually see any, however Gloucester radar on Gloucester approach did report around the vicinity of the aerodrome around 30 to 40 glider contacts. So very busy, so obviously taking that into note, making sure I'm keeping a good lookout. But no aircraft except from the two inbound for the visual approach 27 were sighted. I think it was at Pitts as well as some other aircraft. I think it might have been an RV4, some sort of RV. So just planning for approaching to Kemble. I know it's they're using runway 08, well that's what I initially planned for, looking at the weather, which means it's right hand circuit, which is nice and easy to remember, as it just means all the circuits are right hand and south face, which just makes it easier to remember. So going to do a standard overhead join. I'm at course time for another Frida check, so checking for fuel. I'm just looking at what time I changed tanks, decide I don't require it. Radio, I'm just saying that I am talking with Gloucester and that I've just gone past Abeam the aerodrome, which is what they told me to do, to report, and they've told me to report Chedsworth. And also just making sure I've got the next frequency in the standby box, so that is Kemble information, which is 118.430, and then the rest of the free to check. Alright, I will leave you on the inbound into Kemble. You can see I'm just now looking for Chedsworth disused aerodrome, and I'll catch you again when we enter the ATZ from the north for a standard overhead join. So we're now back, just joining overhead for the circuit. Initially planned for a stand overhead join, however, as I'm from the north, Kemble has just suggested we do a crosswind join, which, to be fair, should have planned anyway. It saves me going to the south, then coming back to the north, then travelling back to the south. It's just crossed over the 2.6 extended threshold on a crosswind, and now we're going to turn downwind and we'll do our approach. At this point, I believe I'm just turning onto base. Yeah, you can just see the aerodrome now. Now, Kemble, as I say, has got a very long runway, able to accept 747s. So I do look like I'm really high on the approach. There's a reason for that. It's because I'm using the last touchdown marker as a displaced threshold, because there's no point me landing on the numbers and then taxiing the majority of runway. I knew I wouldn't be able to land on the numbers, well, unless I literally landed directly on the numbers. I wouldn't have been able to vacate onto Delta, which is a taxiway. You'll see it on the left in a moment, the next one after the one here. So I decided, well, let's just play it safe. I've got plenty of runway, so I'm just going to use the touchdown markers as a displaced threshold and land there, and then taxi a short distance ahead. So it did look from the video like I had a severe flare there and tail striked. However, the reason why it looks like that is just because where I landed was basically the crest of a hill. So obviously the angle's got to be marginally higher, otherwise my normal landing attitude would have just been flat onto the hill. So not an issue at all, and there was no tail striking at all. So we're going to vacate left now onto Charlie, and then taxi via Alpha through on the grass on taxiway Golf, and we'll park just in front of the Aviate restaurant, and that calls for a spot of lunch and a drink before our departure over to Oxford to mark the final leg of the journey. You can just see taxiing down Alpha, and I'm shortly going to transfer onto the grass. Just pulling the yoke to the rear onto the stop, just to protect the nose wheel and the propeller from dinking into the grass, because that would not be ideal, especially at this point, almost at the final step. So just go past the red aeronet on the right, which you can't quite see as Sky Demon is covering it. You might have seen it earlier. And just turn and park right next to it, as well as next to the 172. That's just about to depart now. So I'll leave you with my commentary at the time of recording. Welcome to the graveyard. So Kemble Airport. First time flying in, second time visiting. Very nice long runway. Obviously decided to land long because no real point taxiing the whole runway. So that was a beautiful landing. So welcome back into the aircraft. We're now taxiing onto the northern apron for our final leg. We're going to stop here for our power checks. It was quite busy as we depart. You can see 2 aircraft that will taxi past us, as well as a fire engine escorting a fuel Bowser. So that's the first aircraft, and then you'll see fire engine and the Bowser go past shortly. So as I say, departing to Oxford, planning to route Swindon, Foundon, Whitney, Charlbury, Oxford through the Prize Norton control zone, and if not, then I'm going to route directly over the control zone at 4,000 foot. I was initially planning to go Old Brighton, Oxford, so around the south and then the east of the mats, of control zone. However, they are parachuting or power dropping at Old Brighton, so that's not possible. Obviously, I have kind of given it away that I do get the transit, so I guess that's not really a secret anymore, is it? But taxiing down Delta, and we'll line up runway 08 to depart to the southeast. Again, ATPLs, approach, clear, transponder on out with Squawk 7000. Land light on, and pitot heat as required, which was not required for blisteringly 24 degrees weather today. It was like 22 degrees at 3,000 foot, which was insane. Anyway, let's watch the departure. So plenty of runway ahead of us, even from just departing at Delta. So I keep it in ground effect for a while, let the speed build up, and then it's a rocket boost climb up to 3,000 foot. If the engine failed, it would have been perfect time, as I had sufficient distance ahead to land on. So now just departing to the southeast. So we've now cut ahead of ourselves a little bit. So we're now overhead, well, about at this point, it's Bryce Norton. Just get the Sky Demon up and have a little look. Yeah, so just to the northeast of Bryce. It's got the transit direct from my position overhead Swindon, which was amazing. I was given direct to Oxford, so as you can see, currently direct to Oxford overhead Whitney. Passing over Fairford and Bryce Norton, and in the meantime it was really quiet. I was the only aircraft on frequency, so Bryce zone coordinated with Oxford radar and Oxford Tower. So momentarily you'll see I turn to the left, there we go, to Chalbury, which was my instruction from the tower, and then once I leave the control zone I'm passed over to 133.430 being Oxford radar. And yeah, it was really useful, saved me contacting radar and then having to potentially hold while he's getting me coordinated with tower inbound. I'm perfectly coordinated, so we'll route overhead Chalbury, contact for tower, and we're told to route for a down base join, runway 10 right hand base. So just turned on to an intercept course for the right hand base. You can see perfectly set up there. nice and busy at Oxford, which you'll see momentarily actually does affect the operation and the plan that we change the plan and plan it accordingly. So just making sure the aircraft's all suited momentarily once we turn onto downwind in a second. As you see, we do actually turn into a downwind, even though we were initially cleared for a base join. And then we'll do our bum finch checks, so that's brakes, undercarriage, mixture, fuel pump, instruments, T's and P's, carb heat, and harness, which I'll go into a bit more detail momentarily. So yeah, turned onto onto a downwind. The reason being is there's 2 aircraft to come in ahead. So we're number 3. I've just visually sim the second aircraft, and I've been told to follow traffic. So yep, started and completed the checks. So that's brakes off, undercarriage fixed, mixture rich, fuel pumps on, instruments all sound, carb heat on, harnesses all secure. That's our checks complete. So on our base join, we'll just turn now onto final, and we'll just cut a little bit, and we will watch the landing onto runway 19 at Oxford. So for that landing, I thought, well, let's have some fun. Let's try and do a short field landing. So we have 3 stages of flaps, I believe. Well, I might have done a flapless approach, actually. I can't see myself reaching for flaps, so I must have done a flapless approach. Obviously getting myself confused with the flight I did after this. Did my cross-country 2 weeks ago now, and then I flew again last week from the time of recording this audio, where I did my revision with an instructor, just ensuring that I can still do the skills learned early on the course, steep turns and stalls, that sort of stuff, like a pre-mock test for the skills test. And I was also under hours by a few hours, that being solo hours, so I went and did a little cross-country by myself just to build up the hours, and that marks everything done before my skills test, which is at the moment of doing the voiceover in 2 days time. Hopefully obviously pass that, which I'm sure there will be some form of acknowledgement probably in the next video, where it will probably be my first solo flight as a PPL holder. So taxiing now down Alpha onto Papa, we'll take it to the grass, and that will mark the end of my cross country. So, sorry, down Tango, even, not Papa. We'll just take right here next to Juliet X-Ray. Just give a thumbs up to the instructor who just sent me on my cross country, and a wave to my friend who's just about to depart. Park the aircraft up, and we'll join myself in the cockpit for a live commentary. So I say live commentary, I do actually forget that. I was so zoned in at the moment that I actually didn't do a live commentary. So hopefully you enjoyed that video. There was obviously learning points for myself, which I take on board, and yeah, I'll join you for the next video, hopefully as a PPL holder. So subscribe, like, and all that shabam.